You are sitting in a metal shell traveling at 220 miles per hour. One wrong move and the wall hits you at the speed of a bullet. Your heart should be exploding. Every survival instinct your ancestors spent 3 million years building should be screaming at you to stop. But your heart rate is 130 beats per minute. Controlled. Focused. Almost calm. That is not normal. And the real reason it happens is far stranger than anything you have been told about bravery. F1 drivers are not fearless. Fearlessness is a myth. Every driver on the grid feels fear. The difference between them and you is not that the fear is absent. The difference is what their brain does with it. Here is what happens inside your brain when you encounter danger. The amygdala fires first. It is the oldest part of you. The part that was keeping your ancestors alive before language existed. The amygdala does not ask questions. It detects a threat and floods your body with cortisol and adrenaline within milliseconds. Your vision narrows. Your muscles tighten. Your entire biology pivots toward one single goal: survive. This is the fear response. And for most of human history, it was perfect. Your ancestor spots a lion. The amygdala fires. The body floods. Your ancestor runs. Those genes get passed down. Over and over for 3 million years. Every human alive today descends from someone whose amygdala worked correctly. So why are F1 drivers calm? The answer lives in a different part of the brain. The prefrontal cortex. It sits right behind your forehead. It is the newest part of you, evolutionarily speaking. It handles planning, decision-making, and crucially, the regulation of emotional responses. When the amygdala fires, the prefrontal cortex can receive that signal and modulate it. Not eliminate it. Redirect it. Use it differently. Neuroscientist Joseph Ledoux at New York University spent decades mapping this exact relationship. He called it the low road and the high road. The low road is fast and automatic. The amygdala firing before you even know what you are looking at. The high road is slower and deliberate. It involves the cortex processing the situation with context and judgment. Most people in extreme situations get stuck on the low road. F1 drivers have trained themselves to stay on the high road even when everything around them is trying to pull them off it. But here is where it gets stranger. The training does not just teach them skills. It physically changes the brain. Think about what an F1 driver does before they ever sit in a Formula 1 car. They race karts at 8 years old. Formula 4 at 15. Formula 3 at 16. Formula 2. Each level faster. Each level more dangerous. Each time the amygdala fires and the prefrontal cortex is forced to work with that signal rather than be overwhelmed by it. Over years. Over decades. The brain literally rewires itself to handle what would break anyone else. By the time Max Verstappen or Lewis Hamilton sits on a Formula 1 grid, their brain has processed thousands of near-death situations and survived every single one. The amygdala still fires. But the prefrontal cortex has so many reps handling that signal that it does not feel like panic anymore. It feels like information. That distinction is everything. When you feel fear, you interpret it as a warning to stop. When an F1 driver feels fear, their brain reads it as data. Grip levels dropping. A competitor too close. A breaking point arriving 2 seconds early. The fear does not say stop. The fear says adjust. Now here is something that will genuinely surprise you. High-speed vehicle travel is not a biological preset fear. Neuroscientist Arne Ullman at the Karolinska Institute found that human beings have hardwired fear responses for specific ancient threats. Snakes. Heights. Falling. These bypass conscious processing almost entirely because evolution built them with redundancy after redundancy. They are ancient, and they are stubborn. But a car at 220 miles per hour? Your ancestors never encountered that. Which means the fear an F1 driver feels is a learned fear. And learned fears can be reconditioned in a way ancient biological presets cannot. Every time a driver walks away from a crash, the brain updates its model. Threat level, survivable. The amygdala's output gets weighted differently the next time. And then there is the flow state. Psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi spent his career studying a mental condition where challenge exactly matches skill. Complete absorption. No internal monologue. No self-doubt. Time distorts. Fear fades to background noise because there is no cognitive bandwidth left to process it. F1 drivers describe this consistently. Everything slows down. The car feels like an extension of the body. Decisions happen faster than thought. A driver who stops second-guessing at 220 miles per hour is not being reckless. They are operating in the most efficient cognitive state available to a human being. Now here is the part that should make you look at your own life differently. You do not drive at 220 miles per hour. But you feel fear every single day. Fear of failure. Fear of embarrassment. Fear of saying the wrong thing. And your brain handles those fears through the exact same system. The amygdala fires. The prefrontal cortex modulates. Or it does not. The difference between someone who freezes in a job interview and someone who owns the room is not courage. It is reps. It is the number of times they have stood under pressure and survived. Every survival updates the brain's prediction model. Every time you do the thing that scares you and walk away intact, the prefrontal cortex builds another connection. F1 drivers are not a different species. They did not receive something at birth that you did not. They built something. In the same brain you have right now. With the same ancient fear system your ancestors used to survive lions on a grassland. The car is different. The speed is different. But the brain is the same. And the next time your heart rate climbs before something that matters, before something that feels impossible, before something you are not sure you can survive, remember what that feeling actually is. It is not a warning to stop. It is data. Your brain doing exactly what 3 million years of evolution built it to do. The only question is whether you have trained yourself to hear it that way. You are sitting in a metal shell. The wall is right there. Your heart rate is 130 beats per minute. Controlled. Focused. Almost calm. That is not fearlessness. That is mastery.